All right, Sol Campbell wants Isak at Arsenal, and you people, one thing you should be excited about is that now, wholesomely, the legends of Arsenal are calling in for centre forward because they believe it's the reason as to why Arsenal hasn't gone ahead to obviously win the Premier League in the recent 3 seasons. And Sol Campbell has jumped onto this, and he has something to say about which kind of striker should come in through at Arsenal. And for him, he's really hinging so much onto the position or the area of recruiting that striker from. Good morning, second video of the day. Hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. This is the Rokani Media Football, and it's the second video of the day. And let's see how the day goes, if we can even go 5, as we haven't gone ahead to be here for some time, but we are trying to obviously meet. Now, today, the Clasico is going to be played, but Real Madrid had obviously gone ahead to send threats to the La Liga or the Federation of the Spanish football that they aren't going to be playing if at all the cast of the referees that are going to be officiating this game doesn't obviously change. And guess what? They finally succumbed to the decision of the FA, and I'm obviously going to be letting you know what the referee's body has come up with to say in there. So let's get to Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell was a player that played for Arsenal for some time. You know, he was part of the Invisibles. He played in the final. He was part of that team that led Arsenal to the final of the Champions League in 2006. And obviously, he's now a football manager, but he also has something to say about the Arsenal's transfer window. And he has been saying, when questioned onto the Gunners' summer transfer window and how it's supposed to be like, these are his words that he had to obviously say as a player who is a Londoner and knows exactly where Arsenal should be. Because if you talk about the peak of Arsenal winning very, very big trophies, there is no way you obviously sideline Sol Campbell. Now, Sol Campbell said, I think I would definitely go for centre forward and just say, well, let's see. Let's look at Declan Rice, how they brought him in, and he's proven what he's proven what he can do, and he's getting better and better and better with all aspects of his game. He added, I think the main thing is, don't scrimp, don't scrap, don't try to find someone who is up and coming, and also don't get someone who's maybe back end of their career or whatever. Now, in all of this statement, he has admitted to the much that has been said by people that maybe Arsenal needs a centre forward. And he's like, oh yes, they need a centre forward, but which type of centre forward do they need? He has talked about a striker who is known at the start of his career and at the end of his career. So that means he needs a striker who is at his prime, and that kicks out people like Benjamin Sesko or Hugo Ekitike that have been hugely linked to the side of Arsenal. You understand? So that means he's sending out a message to the people outside there that who is needed in here, it should be none other than a player like Isak or Victor Gyökeres. You know, he's also clinging on those two. But even on those two, he has come up with a divider or a separator, you know, on these two. And he's like, there is one that we need. And that's why he has related to Declan Rice. And Declan Rice has hit the ground running at the club of Arsenal. Though this season, he has been a late developer, but his debut season at Arsenal was really very, very, very important. You understand? And he really looked like he has been playing at Arsenal for some time. Now, for Declan Rice, getting all the hails from Sol Campbell, it's like Sol Campbell is passing over a message to Arsenal that please don't go in for a striker or a forward who is outside of the Premier League. Go in for a striker who is in for who has Premier League experience, who's going to hit the ground running and really takes you to where you want to be. That means he's cancelling out Victor Gyökeres and is like, go in for Alexander Isak. And we all know that Arsenal's number one target is Alexander Isak. But what is obviously taking or diverging Arsenal to Gyökeres from Alexander Isak is the price. The amount of money is insane. They've come and talked about 130 million pounds. They even talked about 150 million pounds. And there is a story that if they qualify for the Champions League, maybe Alexander Isak will stay at the club of Arsenal. But Alexander Isak came out and indicated that he wants to obviously and stay at the club of Newcastle, not Arsenal. I'm sorry about it. And Alexander Isak spoke about him playing in the Champions League and wanting to win trophies. And going in the Champions League, for me, it's not enough for Alexander Isak. He wants to get assurance that he can win trophies. He has won one at the Carabao Cup. He has won one at Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. But I want to let you know, it's not obviously going to end there. He wants to win more. And if you are asked, can Newcastle be one of those teams that can really compete for the Premier League, Champions League? I doubt, because I don't think that they are not at that level, as their squad depth cannot allow them to do that. So Sol Campbell is like telling Arsenal, this deal is possible, and please go for it. Don't look at anyone further than Alexander Isak. He is appreciating Gyökeres as one of the best strikers that are really hitting in goals, but he's not a Premier League proven player, and that's why he's like, they need a Declan Rice-like signing, you know? And why is he talking about Declan Rice? Arsenal had never gone ahead to buy a player for 100 million pounds plus. The best they had gone for was north of 72, 73 million pounds for a player known as Pepe. And he's like, if you signed that Rice for 105 million pounds, he came and hit the ground running, playing in the Premier League. Why don't you go in for Premier League proven striker like Alexander Isak and cough 130 million pounds to the side of Newcastle and have him in? Because he is a forward, and there is no way you don't know how expensive forwards are. If you paid 105 million pounds for a midfielder like Declan Rice, who was not even an attacking midfielder but a defensive midfielder, why don't you go in for a player like Alexander Isak, who obviously goes or commands those numbers in the Premier League? For 2 consecutive seasons, he has scored 21 goals in the Premier League. Assists are part of his game, and his creativity is out of his world. He can obviously create anything or something from nothing as a player, and Sol Campbell is really echoing that to Arsenal. And what's my take about that? I also believe that Sol Campbell is right. You know, if you want to go ahead and really compete with Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea in there, you obviously go in for a signing that will be afraid of you when you obviously announce that you've gone ahead to get that deal done and dusted. Now, Andrea Bartha is going in for Gyökeres, but on paper, Isak is a better player than Gyökeres. I think he's a better goal scorer compared to the goals Gyökeres is scoring in the Portugal La Liga and what this guy is obviously offering in here in the Premier League. So I tell you, I would obviously break the bank to go in the field, but I really understand where Andrea Bartha comes from. He wants to obviously get in like 2-3 players at the club of Arsenal, and spending 130 million pounds on one player, that is a huge chunk of what the budget is going to be given. It won't really work on well for the player. So I think that's why he's like, let's go in for Gyökeres, such that we really have some money to get in a player like what's his name? Getting a player like Gyökeres. You understand? Sorry, getting a player like Nico Williams and maybe Zubimendi, because Zubimendi, 50 million pounds. Nico Williams around 50 million, that's 100 million pounds for 2 players. Add on 65, 165 million pounds. Good money spent for him. So I wait and see how that pans out, but it's not really one of the thoughts that Andrea Bertha is having. Arteta loves Isak, though he also appreciates Gyökeres, but he would love to see Isak playing for the club of Arsenal. Now, let's leave that at that and let's go to the El Clasico, as comedy surfaced yesterday, as Real Madrid were not considering showing up to the Copa del Rey final today. You understand? And what was the reason? The referees. And the referees board came out and confirmed that there is no chance of changing the referees for the Copa del Rey. There is no reason for it, no matter what Real Madrid says. You know, the Spanish Federation came out and said they are not doing so. Then, Real Madrid also came up and said they are set to cancel opening training, all press conferences and clubs dinner scheduled today ahead of the Copa del Rey final. Real Madrid wants the referees for the Copa del Rey to be replaced following their recent comments in the press conference, but the federation did not approve it. So a lot was really happening, and guess what? The matter became more serious from the that was the matter Marca reporting, until Real Madrid came up and obviously saw to it that the federation had stood to its earlier decision, and Madrid had to bow down because the Spanish Federation's answer does not satisfy Real Madrid, and Real Madrid had promised to return back to Madrid. But again, the referees board came out and said, we are not removing Burgos, Bungueta, and Fetis from officiating today's match. You know? And they even went, Real Madrid was serious. They went to the Supreme Sports Council. Can you imagine? You know? And the Spanish Football Federation was annoyed with the VAR referee Paul Fortes for his comments, but they said they are not obviously gonna get him. Now, the president of the referees came out and said the final will be played. Yes, we are going to enjoy this great game tomorrow. And the chairman added and said the Copa del Rey is a celebration for Spanish football and has been in preparation for 2 months. The match will be played. And what the federation went ahead to do was to see to it that they really tell Rio Sociedad that, they told Celta Vigo that please be prepared. If Madrid says they're not playing, you people are really playing Barcelona in the final. And that's how Madrid came or found themselves in a tight spot, and they're like, we have to play. We have to play, and they've finally gone ahead to make a decision that they're obviously going to be playing in the Copa del Rey today. So that's how it was really comic. And Barcelona were like, those are mind games being played by Real Madrid because they know to it that they cannot obviously come close to them. And all what they had to do was to play mind games and see to it that Barcelona doesn't focus onto the game and maybe prepares for 2 games for Real Madrid and Celta Vigo. But they said, we are focused on Real Madrid. Real Madrid wants to play us and they want to beat us. Even the manager, Carlo Ancelotti, can save his job if at all he beats Barcelona in a final today. So wait and see how the El Clasico is obviously going to be happening. And I'll be here letting you know what my thoughts are in a match day live and a match reaction when the game of football is done and dusted. Rokani David remains my name. What are your thoughts about Sol Campbell wanting Isak at Arsenal? What are your thoughts about it? And do you think his reasons are really valid? So good morning. Second video of the day has been loaded and your comments are really hugely being waited for in here. We out.